What if I told you most PropFirm traders fail not because they lose, but because they don't have a plan for keeping one account alive? By the end of this video, you'll see the exact game plan I'm using to turn my single 50k PropFirm account into consistent payouts throughout the entire 2026. If you've ever passed a challenge, felt confident, and then slowly watched that account fall apart, then this is the part that nobody's teaching you. Most traders focus on passing. Very few think about what really happens after. In this video, I am going to be mapping out my entire flow. When I push, when I stop, and why most traders accidentally kill profitable account. And remember guys, this isn't about trading more. It's about surviving long enough to get paid repeatedly. So now speaking about surviving long enough repeatedly, I have something to show you guys. This is going to be my 30k PropFirm account. And remember, for my 30k PropFirm account, I actually got a free scaled up from funding pips, meaning I merged two accounts from my 25k funded account and my 5k funded account. I decided to merge both of them. And you can see over here that I do have a withdrawal of over $6,200. Let's try to take a look into our return of investment real quick. You can see for a $5,000 account, it costed us $36, and for the $25,000 account, it costed us over $156. If we're going to be adding both of these numbers, we would be equating over $192. And now you can see that we do have a $6,200 withdrawal, and with that in the way, that means we have an ROI of over $2,900. If you don't believe me, you can do all your math all you want, but I'm here to be showing you guys proof that I'm someone that you could trust. You guys can also see this live account. We're currently up 2%. I can also pretty much get a withdrawal, but I'll be trading this account all the way up to 8%, be getting my withdrawal. And you can see for the month of January, we're pretty much up $3,000. And yes, I've already gotten the payouts. I gotta be waiting for another week before I can request a payout in this account, so it's perfect for me to be trading it all the way up to 8%. So what is this video pretty much talking about? In this video, I'll be showing you guys my entire framework, because you can see that I do have a two-step master account that is pretty much on a onboarding process that's about to be ready to be traded, in which I will be trading for 2026, and I'll be sharing the entire journey with you guys until a payout. So I want you guys to be paying attention over here to my flow chart, because I'll be showing you guys a strategy on how I'm going to be structuring my 50k account so I can pretty much milk the most out of it. If you guys don't know, I also run a lot of Monte Carlo analysis over here, and if you guys want to be seeing a little bit more in depth on that, comment down below. Now if we take a look over here, I want you guys to understand that there are actually two types of account that I personally like trading in funding pips, which is the two-step pro and the regular two-step. But the difference between the two of them is that for two-step pro, you have a much lower max daily loss of 3% and a much lower max total loss of 6%. Now, if we're going to be comparing that with a regular two-step account, okay, with a regular two-step account, we do have a max daily loss of over 5% and a max total loss of over 10%. Now, why do I like the two-step pro? The thing about the two-step pro and why I personally like it myself is because you're able to get weekly payouts without any consistency rule. With a regular two-step, you are pretty much, I think, given over 3 choices you can get. Now, you do have on-demand payouts, and with on-demand payouts, you pretty much can request payouts anytime. But a problem that I don't really like about on-demand is you do need consistency rule. And we also have a Tuesday payouts. And the thing about Tuesday payouts, you only get 60% of your total profit split. And then the one that I personally like myself, which is the bi-weekly, which you get over 80%, but you gotta be requesting every 2 weeks. And then we got the monthly option, which is technically every single month, and you keep 100%. So honestly, myself, I might be leaning a little bit more onto the monthly in the future. Now, the thing I like about the two-step pro, you're able to get a weekly payout, which means every 7 days, and you get a beautiful profit split of 80% per week. But the only downside is your max daily loss and your max total loss is much lower than usual. So your max daily loss of 3%, your max total loss of 6%. With this in the way, I have already ran my Monte Carlo, and remember, this is only very important if you already have a trading strategy. If you don't have a trading strategy, you can take a look into my videos. I pretty much am sharing videos already of my trading strategy. But if you want a little bit more in depth on my trading strategy, comment down below. I will be making a video in the future potentially for my PropFirm strategy. If you guys want that, comment down below so I'll know that I'll be making that's my next project. So now we're going to be moving on, where there is actually 3 types of target that I look for, which is what I call the 2% weekly target and the 4% weekly target, and then the continuous trading model. What does this actually mean? Now for this right here, you can see that for our 2% weekly target, I often call that as a safe anchor. And for the 4th weekly target, it is the growth engine. And then the continuous is pretty much cash flow. So how it works is every single time you want to be risking only 1% per trade. Now, what is your defense mechanism? Your defense mechanism is every single time your account drops down to drawdown. So for example, if your account is 50,000, this is going to be a 50,000 funded account. If you're up 50K, you can risk 1% anytime. But once you're down, maybe like 49, 950, you want to be risking 0.5% until you're back out of drawdown. And I want you guys to understand over here, your main risk to reward every single time has to be locked to 1:2 RR. Okay, that is gonna be your main RR every single time. It is only gonna be 1:2 RR, which you can pretty much see over here. So remember, this is only for the 2-step. I will be sharing you guys something else for the 2-step pro. So for the 2-step, after I've done my testing, after I've done multiple Monte Carlos, I found out that where I started getting the most payouts consistently was when I pretty much stopped over 2% weekly target every single week. For example, I have a $50,000 account, okay? And my target is only 2% for the week, and I risk 1%. And let's say worst case scenario, you pretty much take a loss into that trade and you are pretty much down what? Let's say you're down negative 1%. You'll be risking 0.5% until you make it back. But best case scenario is that if you have a winning trade, then you are up 2% and you're done for the week. And once you're done for the week, you will start trading again next week. And the beauty about this thing is if you're up 2% this week, and then by the next week, you're also up 2%, you're pretty much up 4% in total. And if you're up 4% in total, and remember your payouts is bi-weekly, so you can pretty much request a 4% payout. I want you guys to understand a 4% of a $50,000 account is pretty much $2,000. And with that, we want to be minusing 80%, you would be keeping over $1,600. And remember, if you're able to replicate this for the whole month, you are going to be up over $3,200 because $1,600 plus another $1,600 on your next payout, you'll be netting the month with over $3,200. And remember, that is only coming from a 50K account. Now, let me give you guys another example. Let's say you are max allocated with funding pips. So you have over $300,000 in funding. So if you have $300,000 of max allocation, let's say you are only targeting 4% before your next payout. Because remember, I want you guys to think about this every time. Our payout is bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks. So 2% per week. So you're up 2% in first week, and the second week you're up 2%. So then you're up 4%, then you can request a payout. And with 4%, that is over $12,000. And we're going to be subtracting that over 80% for the profit split. You are going to be keeping over $9,600. And remember, that is just going to be the first 2 weeks. If we're going to be adding another payout, that is going to be multiplying this to 2. So that is over $19,200. And let's say in a good trading year, in a year, there's 12 months. And let's say you were profitable for what? 8 months. And let's try to do the math. $19,200 of monthly payout, and you want to be multiplying that by 8 months, you are going to be netting over $153,600. That's so much better than working for someone, but you're actually making that funds at home. You're making 6 figures at home. The best, safest way to be scaling when you're new is to be targeting 2% per week. And once you start getting a little bit of confidence, you have a lot of accounts to be trading with, then you can pretty much be trading all the way until you up 4%, and that's when you stop for the week. You can see that there is another thing that I inputted over here, which is the continuous cash flow, and you can see that I'm risking 1%, the same thing, but the thing with continuous is you can be up 8% in a week, 6% in a week, and you're just not going to stop until the trading week is done. But with a 50K account, it is pretty much safe to be doing all of these 3, right? But if you want to be seeing the most cleanest and consistent and safe from all the black swan events in the world, then I highly suggest to be sticking with 2% weekly target with a 50k account. Now remember, that is only for the regular 2-step. So we're going to be jumping to the 2-step pro. For the 2-step pro, there's actually a lot of things that you're going to be playing with, because for the 2-step pro, you can see that your weekly target, it's pretty much best to just be sticking on 2%. Because when I done my Monte Carlo analysis, I was able to see that with a 4% weekly target in continuous trading, it did not do pretty good. Okay, most of the time I would end up breaching my account, but with the 2% weekly target, it was very good. Like, I've gotten a lot of payouts with this way. And also somewhere above here, you can pretty much press that video where I'm documenting my entire trading journey from not funded to a funded, and to all my journey from phase 1 to phase 2 and eventually a payout. And yeah, everything is all there. And I'm using the framework that I'm sharing with you guys today, ladies and gentlemen. I was making this free form for my 25k, and you can see I have a 5k here as well when I was new to my funded account. And now, if you guys did not know, I pretty much merged both of them, 25k and 5k, and I was still getting consistent payouts. So this is pretty much what I got. So the strategies that I highly suggest to be sticking with a regular 2-step account is to be 2% anchor, and you can see over here continuous. But honestly, myself, I highly suggest, if you're new, just stick to a 2% anchor. And if you're trading a 2-step pro master account, I want you to be targeting just 2%. And you can see over here, if you did have 3 accounts, which I did have before, this is the 3 funded accounts I have. You can see for my 25k regular, I was pretty much making this amount just from 1 account. And for my 25k pro, I was making this amount. So you can pretty much combine that and what? From just a 50k total account. And you guys saw that I have pretty much have a 50k account that is pretty much onboarding, that is ready to be traded next week. And I am pretty much excited for this one. I will still be using the very same framework that I shared with you guys. I want you guys to understand, this is just the framework level. Execution, limits, and adjustments are where most traders get stuck. And if you guys want to be seeing how this actually plays in real time, I walk it through live inside my free community. Link's gonna be in the description down below, and I'll be seeing you guys inside. If you want to be seeing more videos like this, comment down what type of videos do you guys want to be seeing next. And this JCAC Trades, bye-bye.